We're joined now by our Leafs reporter, Mark Masters. Mark, a lot of speculation surrounding Auston Matthews. He's been dealing with this illness and was pulled by doctors before the third period on Saturday. So what's the latest on his status?
Yeah, so he doesn't take part in practice today. He's going to travel with the team to Boston, though. But he doesn't take part in practice. And unlike on Friday when he also missed practice, instead of just having a placeholder in his spot and keeping the lineup the same as it would be in the game, they changed their lines. They had Max Domi in that number one center spot between Tyler Bertuzzi and Mitch Marner, and they had Max Domi taking reps on the top power play in Matthews' spot. So I can tell you, at the very least, they're preparing for the possibility that Auston Matthews is going to miss this game. You know, some of the players answering questions, you know, sounding like they think Matthews is going to miss the game and how they have to rally around that. And they've missed players in the past. They missed Auston Matthews in one regular season game, and they won it 7-0. It might have been their best game of the whole year. But Glenn, obviously, you know, he didn't practice. If he's able to play, what are you going to get out of him? They're hopeful, Sheldon Keefe says, that they can still get him in the lineup and he can start feeling a bit more like himself.
Oh, this series has just been shrouded in mystery, and it just continues now with Auston Matthews. And how about this Leafs power play? It's been a big talking point as well. Toronto just 1 for 14 in the series. Only the Kings, who have yet to score on the power play, are worse among playoff teams. So what has to change here on the man advantage for Toronto?
Well, you know, probably a lot. You know, I was watching the power play reps pretty closely at practice today. Mitch Marner looked up at me and said, "No video, don't give away our secrets." But, you know, it's clear, I would think if I'm Boston, to expect some changes. I mentioned Domi was on that top unit. They think his playmaking, his speed on the breakouts, his speed in puck retrievals could help that unit. In general, they have to do a better job on puck retrievals, and that will help them break down Boston's structure. They're not getting a lot of clean looks. The one power play goal they scored in Game 2, you know, it was kind of a broken play, and John Tavares got the puck in the slot and hammered it home. So we saw them working on different looks today. You know, Willie Nylander said quicker puck movement, different areas to get shots away. Mitch Marner in the bumper, we might see that a bit more. But they are planning some changes with or without Matthews for Game 5, Glenn.
All right, and we got the goaltending to talk about because Ilya Samsonov, he was pulled to start the third period in favor of Joseph Woll. Who do you think starts Game 5?
Well, Sheldon Keefe isn't revealing his Game 5 starter, but everything we saw today, everything we heard would suggest that it's going to be Joseph Woll getting his first start of this series in Game 5. He did not stay out late at practice, as the backup tends to do. And listening to Keefe, he's talking about the big changes they need in this series, special teams, and then he mentioned goaltending. They're not getting the critical saves at the critical times, and he said the other team is. I spoke to Samsonov away from the cameras. He was talking like a guy who isn't going to get the start. He was talking about how he needs to keep his mental game sharp and how he's going to prepare as if he were playing, but understanding that sometimes when things aren't going well, the easiest thing to change is the goalie to try and change the momentum in the series. So Joseph Woll, remember last year against Florida, his first start in that series was with the team down 3-0, with the team facing elimination. They liked how he responded to that situation. They got the win in Florida to keep their season alive. And Glenn, at this point, it would not surprise me if Woll is in that same position this year.
Well, the Bruins are 23-1 all-time when holding a 3-1 series lead. But that one loss, it came last year when they ended up losing in 7 to the Panthers. Mark, thanks for this. Well, the Maple Leafs were a small favorite to win both Game 3 and 4 at FanDuel, but they'll be underdogs here for Game 5 as they look to avoid elimination. Toronto now plus 740 to come back and win the series, which implies a 12% probability. Teams with a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup playoffs, they go on to advance at a 90% rate.